Hello everyone, today we'll be looking at the Class B subnetting. Class B subnetting is a little bit different from Class A, but it's still very much the same thing we'll be talking about. Still have our magic table and our big network which we want to break down into smaller network. So let's start by borrowing one bit, determining the network ID and the host part of this network. The network ID of this network will have /16, which is going to give me 255, which is 8 16 zeros. So I'm going to have 255 here, dot 255 here. So basically where the 255 stops is going to show me where my network ID is and my host ID. So it stops at this second octet. So I'm going to divide the network here. So here is going to be my network ID and here is going to be my host ID. So I want to borrow one bit. I'll be borrowing bits from the host ID of my network. So if I borrow one bit, I will turn one of the bits to 1, while the remaining one is to be 0. So to determine the number of time I'm going to borrow the network, you already know 2 to the power of 1, which is going to give me 2. So it's going to be a big network, and I'll slash it to 2 1 and have another one, the second one. So to determine number of valid hosts that we're going to have in this network, just going to be simply 2 to the power of the remaining bits after the borrowed bit. Remember, we'll have 16 bit before, but we borrowed one bit from that 16 bit, which now left us with 15 bits. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 15 to determine the number of hosts that we'll have on that network. So we're going to have 232,768 hosts, but there are 2 addresses that we are not going to be assigning to any device or host on our network, which is the network ID and the broadcast ID on our network, which is not going to be assigned to anybody. So we are simply going to minus these two addresses immediately to determine the number of valid hosts that we're going to have on that network. The number of valid hosts you're going to have is going to be 2 minus the total number of the hosts, which is 32,766 valid host address. So determine the first network ID. Of course, you know it's always going to be this very network that we broke down, which is going to be 172.1.16.0.0. Now to find the broadcast ID of that network, we are going to find the next network ID of that network. The next network ID of that network is going to be, we borrowed one bit. Remember, one bit occurred on the place value of 128. So we're going to use 128 and append 128 on the octet that we borrowed bit from. We borrowed bit on the third octet. Remember, this was where we borrowed that bit. The borrowed bit occurred. The borrowed bit occurred on the third octet. So the third octet, we are simply going to append that value, that our place value on that third octet, which is going to be 0 plus 128 is going to give us 128, and this other one should be 0. Now to find our broadcast ID, we're going to minus 1 from that 128. Is going to be this 127, and this one will also be 255. Now you be 255. Then we now have to find the broadcast ID of the second network. To determine that, remember I told you that you make everything 255, so everything here will be 255. So that's about it. So determine the subnet mask. Subnet mask is going to be 255. Then the top octet where we borrowed bit is going to be where we are subnet mask. The mask is going to occur. It's going to look different. So it's going to be, we borrowed one bit. If we convert that particular value of that octet, is going to be 1 0 0 0 0 0 0, which which is going to be 128, and that's how we came about this 128. That's how we come about this 128, and this guy is now 0 as well. So 128, what is the subnet, the slash notation of 128 is going to be 16 plus 1. 16 plus 1 is going to give me 17. So you can see it's very easy. Now, what is the first value the first value address on this network? The first value address on this network, of this one for example, is going to look like this: 172.16.0.1. this is the first valid host on this network, and this will go on to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to what? 255. Once it reaches 255, you know that this our node network is more, it cannot be 256 again. So for it to be 256, you will add that value here. It's now going to be 172.16.1.0. You can see it will start going again: 172.16.1.1, 172.16.1.2, 172.16.1.3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 255. If we use 255 again, this value here will change to 2. It now be 172.16.2.0. another network again. You see, it keeps on going on and on and on and on and on and on. Then that's it. So it's very easy, and that will be the end of this video. Please, if you have any issue with this, review this, watch this video again, and you get to understand better. Very easy. Or you can ask me question on the comment section. I'll answer you. Thank you. See you in the next video.